Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thanks for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to all of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some techniques that I use every day in my own voiceover business, and I answer your questions. And I do these lives every week. So far, I've been pretty good at it, keeping consistent. That's always good. Just do a quick check, make sure that everything is working okay. It looks like it is. I'm just paranoid that one day something's going to stop working because that's the way it goes. Uh, also, if you're new here, we have a poll every week. And today's poll is, do you have a voiceover or an audiobook demo? And it doesn't have to be a professional demo. It could be one that you DIY'd. It could be one that you put together. You just compiled a few different samples that you have. I think demos are important, but there's also a difference between demos and samples. Samples are shorter, right? A sample could be if you offer a client a quick complimentary sample of their script, because perhaps they have a particular sound or an idea that they're trying to achieve with your voice, and they're not quite sure if your voice is right. You could offer them a sample, or a sample could be just a small little slice of a particular genre of audiobook narration or a particular type of voiceover, like telephony, IVR, and if you don't know, telephony, IVR is phone greetings, phone trees. It's or e-learning, or it could be, any type of voiceover. It's a sample. But demos are important because you need to have something on hand to show the client that demos are typically used to show a range. Or if you want to even have a specific demo, like if you want to have a demo that's compiled of little slices of a particular type of genre of audiobook, or maybe a compilation of phone messages. So demos are important to have on hand to provide to a customer if they ask for maybe examples of stuff that you've done in the past, or just to showcase your voice. So demos are important to have, and they don't necessarily need to be professionally made. In the very beginning, you could make your own by just, as I said, compiling little bits of, projects or samples that you've done in the past. So let's hop over to the poll. So far, we have 16 votes, and 19% of you said yes, both. And 25% of you said yes, just one, meaning either a voiceover demo or an audiobook demo. And 56% of you said no, not yet. For those of you that are no, not yets, I would highly encourage you to just put something together, just to have one on hand, because you never know when someone's going to reach out to you. They're going to find you if you're telling the world about your voiceover career on social media, or if you're on any of the voiceover platforms, voices.com, Fiverr, etc., and they reach out to you and they ask you for a demo, you definitely want to have one on hand. So having a demo, even if it's a DIY, you put it together yourself, they're absolutely great to have on hand, and I highly recommend that you do that. So that's today's poll, and that will be active during the whole live, so feel free to add your input. Let's run over to the comments really quick. Let's see how everybody's doing today. First off, we have the Spectral Voice. Good morning. Hello, Angela. Good morning, and I hope you're doing splendid. I am doing splendid. Thank you for asking. I hope you are also splendid. I just completed my first audiobook voiceover. Very fun project. Congratulations. Well, for you, we're going to try something new. I have this made. Yay! I'm still working on the cool little features and functions that this thing does. So that's exciting. Congratulations. That's amazing. And then we have Phil is here. Good morning. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Ralph says, "Good morning, Angela and all. Good morning, Ralph. Happy day after. Greetings from Fresno, California." That's awesome. I've got family in Fresno. What's the weather like in Fresno today? I'm always interested in what the weather's like. It is 91 degrees here in Phoenix and mostly sunny. So we'll see how it goes today. Stephen G says, "Hey, everyone. How do you start everything going while working a full-time job? It's tough. It's tough. Most of the people that I work with, including, well, myself, had a full-time job while getting this business off the ground. And it is hard. It is hard because, especially if you're a parent or if you have a lot of other outside things that you need to do, if you have a lot of other responsibilities, or if you belong to any other clubs and stuff like that, it's tough. And I can tell you from my personal experience, I had to sacrifice some time. I had to sacrifice some time away from my family. I had to spend nights in here away from them, or maybe late at night, early in the morning. I'd get up before everybody else did and get some work done, or stayed up after, the kiddo went to bed and came down here for a few hours. It's difficult to squeeze in, work after work, but it's well worth it. But it is a delicate balance. I think having an agenda book or having some sort of a schedule for yourself definitely helps to not only keep everybody else in the household posted as to what you're doing and when, so maybe they can, you know, put themselves to bed or to get themselves ready for, to get their jammies on or whatever it is. Maybe a couple nights, if you have your partner help you with dinner, if you can really, tell them this is not just a flash in the pan. This is something that you really want to do, that you really are working towards, and you are sacrificing some of your time away to get this off the ground, and you appreciate a little extra help. But it is tough. It is tough, but it can be done. I did it. I know a few others that were in the same position as myself. But it takes a lot of work, but it can be done. All right. Get off my tangent. The spectral voice says, "I work nights and do VO in the day. It can be rough, but you just have to find a balance that's right for you." Very perfectly put, the spectral voice. Perfect. Michael V says, "Where do you get all your pictures that you use for your thumbnails?" My thumbnails on YouTube, my thumbnails on Fiverr. Most of those pictures are uh, the profile, or the pictures of me are just the same picture of me. I tend to use the same picture if I can, like my profile picture here on YouTube and Fiverr and everywhere else. I want it to be the same so I'm recognizable. It's branding, right? But if you're asking about the pictures or how I use them, I use Canva, just by inserting a profile picture and then some text and then a background picture. But Canva is basically how all of those are made. I hope that answers your question. Starlight Diva says the confident shift, excuse me. "I'm new and is interested in hiring a narrator and need a clear understanding about pay and marketing. If you both are receiving royalty, does the narrator help to promote your book?" They should. They absolutely should. If you are looking specifically for just royalty share in books, then if you don't already know, or anybody watching this later, watching the replay, if you do royalty share for books, you essentially get 40% of the sale of every book. And if you're sharing the royalty, that means that you get 20% of the sale of each book, and the narrator gets 20% of each sale of the book. If you're doing pay for production or offering a PFH rate, that is a buyout. So you're essentially paying for the whole production up front, and then you keep any of the royalties that are made on the book. And then there's also something called Royalty Share Plus, which is sort of a hybrid between the two, meaning that the narrator gets a typically smaller per finished hour rate up front to compensate them for their time, and then also sharing the royalties going forward on the sale of every book at 2020. So I hope that breaks that down a little bit for you. But to answer your question about the royalty share, should the narrator promote the book? Absolutely. And most of the ones that I know do, because that is, it's promoting the sale of the book through you and also the narrator. Great question. The spectral voice says, excellent. Is that the the congratulations? That was pretty cool. I'm still finding really cool things to do with StreamYard. Megan Woods, I hope I pronounced that right. Don't hate me if I didn't. Angela, I have a question about your Fiverr pricing. How are you able to do audiobooks too fast and at such a great rate for the buyer? I think your turnaround time is 3 days. Only up to 1,250 words. My base rate is 1,250 words. So that is basically children's books. So, but above and beyond that, it's the delivery time will increase, of course, and then so will the rate, of course. It takes a little bit of trial and error on Fiverr to find a rate that works for you and a delivery time that works for you. But since I'm full time, I can, I have the time during the day to get smaller books done fairly quickly. Megan Wood says that's amazing. Junior 17 is here. Hello, Junior. Hello. Can you help me with recordings? Maybe give me some tips, audio quality and whatnot. That's a very broad stroke of a question. If you're looking for feedback on a particular demo, perhaps, if you're in my Facebook group, I welcome all of my members of the VO workshop on Facebook to post your demo and to get feedback. I have nearly 900 other voice artists in that group that are willing and able to give you a little bit of feedback on your demo. And I encourage that because I often say that if you're listening to your own voice all day long, right, you grow accustomed to what you're listening to. You get used to hearing your own voice and maybe something that, and the audio quality, right? And maybe a little bit of echo, maybe mouth noise. I mean, who knows what it is? There's a lot of things to consider in your audio recordings. So if you have other people take a listen, they might hear something that you just got used to hearing. They might tell you, hey, this sounds a little bright. This sounds like maybe you're too far from the microphone. You're too close to the microphone. Maybe you've got a little bit of reverb. Maybe there's a lot of ambient noise. Maybe there's a lot of mouth noise. So I encourage you to post your demos in my Facebook group for feedback. And then that might be the easiest way to find out if there's something that we need to tweak in your demos. And then Junior says, I emailed you several times, but didn't get a response. I'm not sure where you're emailing, to be honest. I'll have to look because I don't recall getting an email from you unless you're unfortunately falling into my spam. I'm not sure, but I'll have to double check for you, Junior. I'm not ignoring people intentionally. It's a lot of places for me to contact or have conversations with people. I may have either missed it or there might be something else going on there, but I apologize. But if you are in my Facebook group, I encourage you to post it there. Ralph Toll says, temp in Fresno is supposed to reach 91 degrees, gradually increasing to the high 90s by this weekend. Oh, yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a warm day, just like it is here in Phoenix. Rustic Hillbilly, good morning. From what's the temperature or the weather like in Oregon today? The spectral voice says yes. Megan Wood says, okay, that makes sense. Good. Thank you, Megan. Megan, it's Megan with an I. Megan? Megan. Megan? I hope it's Megan. Megan with an I. So it's Megan, not Megan. Colin Clark says, hello all. Almost missed this as Anthony Pica posted the video of the audiobook auditions video minutes ago. Oh, did he really? Did he the workshop that we did on his Facebook page? Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was fun. Let's take it over to the poll really quick because let's check in with that. And then today's poll was, do you have a voiceover or an audiobook demo? Let's take a look here. So far, we have 28 votes. 11% of you said yes, both, good. And 31% of you said yes, just one. Just one is better than none. But a large chunk of you said not yet, 59%. So not yet. I highly encourage those of you that don't, if you're just joining, to make a demo. Make a little compilation of different types of voiceover that you can do, or different ranges, different tones. Or if it's for an audiobook demo, you could, as I said, you could do it a couple of different ways. You can have one demo that's got a little bit of everything in it, right? If you have an author that maybe has many different types of books, you can offer them a demo that's got maybe a children's book read, maybe a horror, something dramatic, maybe a romance. There's all different types of genres. Or you can break it down into a specific demo that's just self-help, or just children's books, or just dramatic reads, or just, romance or sci-fi, whatever it is that you like. But I highly recommend having a demo, especially as you're starting to get onto different platforms, right? If you're on social media, if you're on Fiverr, you're on Upwork, you're on voices.com, eventually someone's going to Google you and reach out to you and find you maybe via your website. And having a website is also a good thing. I would recommend having a website, even if it's just a freebie one, just some place where people can Google you and find you and then contact you there. And if they do contact you there, then it would be nice for you to have something on hand to offer them when they ask. Or I also have, let's just say Fiverr, for example. I have most of the clients that I work with there are third party. They are the video creator. They are the production company. So, and then they look for different voice actors to fulfill the voiceover for the video that they're creating for their client. And so when they reach out to you and say, hey, do you have a demo that I can use so I can share it with my client? Then you want to be able to send them a demo that they in turn can download and then send to their client for review so they can choose a voice actor. I highly recommend having a demo for many different reasons. All right, let's hop back over to the comments. Let's see. I think we're here. Tiffany Marie reads. Hello, Tiffany. Good morning. I hope this isn't a weird question. Interest peaked. I doubt it's weird. We're all weird a little bit. But I was wondering, how can I tell if my voice is a good voice for VO? When I hear my own voice, I cringe. Ha, but I have no idea if it's a marketable voice. Tiffany, I have the same doubts. I think my voice is cringy, and I'm a full-time voice artist. And it's completely normal, especially in the beginning when you're hearing your voice for the first time, when you're recording something and then you're playing it back to do the editing or post, or just, make sure that you said it right. It is very cringy. Just like, God, how in the heck would anybody want to listen to that? That is just horrible. But they do, because again, voice actors represent the world. We are the voices of the people in the world. So there is a need for every voice, every type of voice, every voice, right? Every dialect, every accent, every, different voices with different nuances. There's a need for all of it, every age, all of it. So there's a good chance that your voice could represent someone else, or a voice that someone else is looking for to represent a specific type of group, right? I wouldn't say to be worried about whether or not your voice is marketable. I say just do it. If this is what you want to do, just do it. but it's not weird. It's not a weird question. It's a completely normal question, and I think we all think that at some point. Good. Megan says you're saying it right. Good. Megan, hopefully. Megan? Yes. I hope that's right. Okay. Phil says it's raining right now where I live. Perfect opportunity to audition. Oh, I love a rainy day. As long as there's not, thunder and the wind is blowing and stuff, because that can get out of hand a little bit when you're trying to audition. That's a nice, but when it's raining, most people are inside. The kids aren't running around outside and no one's mowing their lawn. So that's when it's a good opportunity to audition, for sure. Rustic Hillbilly says it's about 72 degrees in Oregon and cloudy. But it's Oregon, right? That's most of the time. But 72 degrees sounds nice. I'm sure there's a nice breeze. Ah, that sounds wonderful. Siler Harris says, dang, Angela, you looking hot fire today? Thanks. It's hot in here. You guys are making me self-conscious. Stop it. Colin Clark says 28 votes, but only 8 likes. Make friends with that like button, folks. Thank you, Colin. Yes, liking this video is very helpful in helping my YouTube algorithm. It tells YouTube that you guys like this content, and so therefore they will show it to other people searching for the same type of content, and helped my videos to reach more people looking for this content. So yes, likes do help. Thank you, Colin. Starlight Diva, the confident shift says, thank you so much. Another question. Do we negotiate a price or do the narrator let me know his or her prices are? I would say most narrators already have a rate in mind for themselves as they start at the beginning of their narrator journey and they start to get better and more confident. They invest in more equipment, more training. Then their rate typically goes up at that point. So yes, most narrators already have a rate in mind or a rate that they work with, but I would still encourage you to ask them if they're flexible. They might be. If it's something that they really want to work with you on, they might be flexible if your budget is, set in stone pretty much. But you could definitely ask them. If you're working through ACX, a place like that, you can actually specify up front when you're looking for auditions on your book, what sort of a per finished hour rate that you're willing to pay. But just keep in mind that per finished hour is per 10,000 words of your book. So roughly a 10,000 word book is 1 finished hour. And for the narrator, that finished hour of audio could take up to 5-6 hours of work for each finished hour of audio. So whatever you do offer them, just keep in mind that a 20,000 word book is 2 finished hours. And that 2 finished hours could take the narrator 10, 11, 12 hours of work to get done. So just keep that in mind. But there's nothing wrong with asking. If you really like the narrator and they're a little out of your price range, I would ask. You never know. Kirk is here. Hi, Kirk. Good morning. Greetings. Did you give yourself the day off for the 4th? I hope so. I did. I did give myself the day off yesterday. Thank you, darling. John Popovich says, good morning, Angela. Good morning, John. I couldn't agree more to have demos, even if they are not from a job you have done. I have a background in radio and I have some old stuff and made new ones. That actually brings up a really great point, John. Thank you for saying that, because you reminded me of something that I had forgotten to say about demos. If you have a professional demo made for you, keep in mind that your demo, when you send it to a client, that is representative of the final product that you will be giving to the client. So that is what the client is going to expect. So if you have someone else make your demo for you, You need to be sure that you can replicate the same sound and quality on your demo, that you can replicate that yourself in your own studio. So that is another reason why I always recommend in the beginning to make your own demos. You don't have to go out of the gate and have, spend thousands of dollars on a demo. Make your own, because as we go along, we get better. Our equipment is upgraded. We get training. We get audio engineers involved. So everything sounds better as we go along, right? So then your demos would also be refreshed with every time you have a new tweak or a new equipment and you sound better. Every couple of months, I always say you should upgrade your demos, make them yourself. But your current demo should reflect what you sound like or what you can create now on your own, because that is what the client is going to expect. So if you have a professional demo made and you can't replicate that sound, your client is going to be very unhappy with that finished product, right? So definitely consider making your own demos in the beginning and then refresh them as you go along. Every couple of months, refresh them. And that way your client won't be disappointed when they get their final product. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, John. Thank you for that. Megan says, how can I record at my desk without having my laptop can of off every couple minutes? Yes, your hair is great. Well, thank you about my hair. Thank you very much. How can I record at my desk without having my... Oh, is it turning off? Excuse me. Is your laptop turning off every couple minutes? If that is what you mean, I think there's settings in your laptop for the display to change the auto off time for the display, because there is a screensaver sort of a function. You can turn that off in your settings so your screen doesn't turn off while you're trying to record. I'm assuming it's somewhere else that's not directly in front of you, which is good because most computers make noise. They have fans or their SSDs in them are making noise. So moving that noise away from your microphone is always a good practice. But if your laptop is turning off, then there's settings for the display that you can adjust so it doesn't turn off on you. I hope that's what you're asking. Good. Michael V says, here we go, tickling her algorithm again. I hit the like button before the stream even starts. Thank you for that, Michael. Oh my God, you guys are going to make me blush. Stop it. Oh, Colin and Michael, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Robert Palmore. Morning, Robert. How you doing? JCCAOL says, I am a little late, but I am curious, did you play Cry Little Sister before you entered the chat? No? Why? Not today. That also brings up which version. I like both. I like both versions. The original and the redo by Mr. Manson. Joy West says, good morning. Good morning, Joy. What should I have in a demo and how long should it be? Also a very good question. Again, your demo can be a compilation, like a wide variety of things. If someone is asking you just a general demo, for instance, if you're reaching out to someone and you're asking to be put on their roster for something as a voice artist or an audiobook narrator, it would be good to have a demo in that respect that had a little bit of everything in it. And I would say demos 2 minutes, a minute, 2 minutes. If you were sending them a demo that's got a little bit of everything on it, if you can fit a little bit of everything in a minute, then do that. Or if it needs to be 2 minutes, it needs to be 2 minutes, but I would definitely not make it any longer than that. And then it's also good to consider having a demo that is more specific. So if an author reaches out to you and they say, hey, I have this children's book, or I have a series of children's books, and I wanted to know if you could send me a demo of some of the children's books that you've narrated. It would be very handy to have a demo that's just children's books. Same thing goes with self-help, with sci-fi, fantasy, romance, all of the genres. Or you can have an audiobook demo that's got a little bit of, each genre in it. You can have them all. I do. I have many different types for any kind of different situation. Ready, on hand, ready to send to a client if they ask, or an author, or whomever. So, very good question, Joy. Thank you for asking that. Megan said fan. Oh, the laptop fan. So your laptop fan is turning off and on every couple minutes. They do that. They do that to keep the computer cool. So what I would do in that respect, that goes with what I was saying before about moving it away from your microphone. I learned that in the beginning. I went through a few different computers to use for my studio here, and inevitably, what I had to do, I went back to a tower PC. Let me back up. I started with a laptop, and then I moved to a mini PC because I thought it would be small and quiet, and it would be fine in here, but it still made noise. Microphones are created, or they're designed to pick up sound for clarity, right? So they will pick up fan noise. So ultimately, I built a tower PC that could help me multitask everything that I need to do for my business. But I bought extra long cords that run under the door of my studio, and my computer tower actually sits outside of my studio. So everything I need is in here with me, and I can close the door and have it be quiet and still have everything running in here, but the computer outside. So if it's making too much noise for you, if you go onto Amazon, there's cords, extra long cords for just about every single purpose. You could get an extra long cord. It's also worth noting, if you can not use extensions, like USB extensions, that would be preferable. It's just to get one long cord directly from your interface to your computer instead of using an extension, because using an extension will sort of downgrade the quality. So if you can keep the distance from your hardware or your laptop to your interface or wherever it's going, keep the connection as one long cord or connection, that is better. But there are tons of cords out there, extra long ones. I've got, just as an example, I've got like a 25-foot internet cable, like an Ethernet cable, like a Cat6 Ethernet cable that runs from my computer down here on the ground floor all the way up a floor to the modem. And it's directly plugged in. There's cords for everything, extra long cords. I'm going on a tangent again. I'm sorry. I apologize up front. Sean Lester 007 is here. Hello, hello. Good morning. I improved my space, re-engineered my DAW, and it sounds terrific. That's great. That is a feat in itself, right? Now it seems my clips for the demo are out of date. The perils of a newbie learning curve. Same. We've all been there, Sean. It's okay. It happens. And you're going to refresh your demos a lot. Like I said, every couple of months probably, because we upgrade equipment, we learn new things about our DAW, we streamline things, we get new plugins, right? So they need to be refreshed. SSDs don't make noise. Then what is it that I'm thinking of? I'll have to think about that. I probably misspoke. Robert Palmore says, power settings for your laptop. Yeah, start settings, system power and sleep, set screen when plugged in, turn off after never, and set sleep when plugged in. PC goes to sleep after however long you want. Thank you, Robert. Sean Lester said, I thought I would make a couple demos last night before bed, but then the neighbors 50 yards away put on a very expensive and very loud fireworks show. The dog ran under the bed while I waited. Yeah, anytime there's any kind of celebration, usually around like Super Bowl, Anytime where there's going to be groups of people outside making noise, it's probably not an ideal time to be in your studio trying to record stuff, for sure. JCCAOL says, last week it was all about the Lost Boys, and well, I was curious. Yeah, we can still make it about the Lost Boys. I have no problem. I have no problem with that. I was looking at a bunch of videos regarding that movie for the rest of the week. Boy, did it bring back memories. Yeah. Yeah, I love the Lost Boys. I'm a little bit of a nerd. I have David right here, my David Funko Pop. Stephen G says, raining here on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, but our norm is usually in the 90s and humidity in the 90s. Oh, God, 90 degrees humidity or 90% humidity. Oh, my gosh. Wow. In my former job, before the car business, I used to build animal exhibits, and I traveled all over the world doing that, for zoos and aquariums. And I was in Dubai for 10 days in the summer. Man, I don't know how people, I guess you get used to it. I guess you get used to the whatever climate that you're in the most, I suppose. Yeah, but that's rough. It's very humid. Robert Palmore says fanless computers have improved so much more than before. I, you know, I don't know from my own experience, but I guess the technology, I mean, what comes out today is already, 6 months behind by the time it's released. So, yeah, but I like my computer. I think as long as it does what it's supposed to do and doesn't make any noise for me because it's outside, then. But yeah, there are a lot of fanless computers, or you can have computers built that are fanless. It's so impressive what can be done these days. It's nuts. Megan says, thank you so much about the extra long cords. Gotcha. Gotcha. Let's go check the poll really quick. Okay, so 43 votes. And today's poll again was, let me put that on the screen really quick like. So today's poll again was, do you have a voiceover or audiobook demo? And right now we have 44 votes, and 14% of you said yes, both. That's good. And 27% of you said yes, just one. And still 59% of you said not yet. So I would say for all of you that don't have a demo made yet, after this live, if you can, or tonight when you get off of work, make one. It should only take a few minutes. If you don't have anything to put in your demo, content-wise or recording-wise, write your own script. Grab a book off your shelf and use a little bit of that. Where am I at? Oh, here we are. Phil. I use Audacity. I narrate in my room with an air purifier, and after I've set up the requirements, there are no unwanted sound in the audio. Audacity is one of the most affordable DAW there is because it's free. Audacity is free for those of you that don't know. So it is, and it's come a long way. I used it, 4 years ago now? Yeah, 4 years ago. I started in June of 2018, so 4 years ago. Yeah, and that's when I used Audacity, and it has come a long, long way since then. Definitely. John De Silva says SSD, solid state drive. Yeah, I know one of them makes more noise than the other, as opposed to the what am I thinking of? HDD? I need more coffee. Michael V says standard spinning hard drives wouldn't it make noise? Okay. SSDs are just the hard drive. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking of. There's something that makes noise on my computer apart from the fans. Flyer here says, hey, Angela, Eric here. This is fun content. Thanks. Well, thanks for joining. Donnie Lansdale is here. Good morning, Donnie. Thanks for joining. And then Colin says, I use Audacity too, Phil. I've moved my PC outside my recording space and have no problems. Mind you, I had no issues with it beforehand. I like Audacity. Yeah, Audacity is not a bad DAW. I mean, like I said, it's come a long way. There's a lot more that you can do with it than you used to be able to. Michael V says that was supposed to say are what make noise, not wouldn't. Oh, okay. Phil says at Colin Clark, hey guys, I'm not a computer expert. I'm just telling you what I know. If I misspoke, I misspoke. I apologize. Donnie Lansdale says, just received an offer from an author through ACX who actually found my demo sample. That's awesome. That is cool. How cool is that? Thanks for the VO workshop ad. Hope to help others. Yes. Anything, if you're in my Facebook group, the VO workshop, I encourage you, even if you feel like you don't know anything, ask questions. And if you do have experience and you feel like you know more than the average VO bear, then definitely share. That is a place, I wanted to create a place on Facebook where you didn't have to be, intimidated, or you could ask the questions that you wanted to ask without fear of being, attacked, or because I know that that happens out there. I wanted my group to be a safe space where you can ask for feedback, you can ask questions no matter what your knowledge level, because we don't come into this industry knowing everything. If this is something you want to do, then definitely join my group. I encourage you to join my group. I've got 900 voice actors and audiobook narrators in there right now that are willing to help. So thank you for that, Donnie. I appreciate that. Donnie says, Twisted Wave works great for me. Just upgraded my mic to a Rode Podcaster. Awesome. New gear is always fun, isn't it? Edwin00 says, I cheered when David got a horn in the heart. Darn vampires. Well, don't go moving to Santa Carla. Robert Palmore says, left-handed ding futzers are pretty noisy. Just kick them out. All the dingle hoppers, all the noisy dingle hoppers, just kick them out. Joy West says, I'm taking the Audacity tutorial and it has a lot of features for it to be free. Plus it's user-friendly. Yeah. Yeah. If it's free and it's user-friendly, there's nothing wrong with it. At this point, I'm so accustomed to Adobe Audition. I switched to that about 3.5 years ago and haven't looked back. So I'm pretty well versed, I feel, in Adobe Audition. Evil Leprechaun says, are you allowed to use auditions as samples, or is that a copyright issue? I think most of the platforms that you can list your services on will tell you what their policy is on that. But most of them will let you use your auditions as samples. And I think, I can't think of the one I'm specifically thinking of, but there is one that I think even asks you if you want to automatically post your auditions as samples. Trying to remember which one that is. But to answer your question, long-winded answer, I know. But yes, you are. But definitely check. I would definitely check with the fine print of wherever you're posting. Actually, side note, Fiverr, I always put in the verbiage of my deliveries. When I deliver an order to a client, I put in the verbiage of the delivery description. I put in there, I would like to use a piece of this or all of this, of course, depending on its length, right? For demo purposes, unless you tell me otherwise, right? And sometimes the clients will say, no, please don't use it, or I don't have a problem with you using it. Go ahead and use it. So me being me and always erring on the side of caution, I always ask first, but some of the sites will tell you up front, yeah, go ahead and use auditions as samples. Flyer here says, with regard to where to find scripts, I use companies' websites. Using that, you can usually find very well-written descriptions. Since you only need 10 to 20 seconds, that does not take many words. No, it doesn't. And finding scripts can be difficult, but you can always write your own. just using other scripts for inspiration and really studying on how the verbiage is used. Like, what calls to action do they use? What kind of is it? What is the pace and tone? You can usually just make your own script, you know, pick up the pen on your desk and describe it as a voice actor, right? You're just trying to showcase your voice and how you can sell that pen, basically. I hope that makes sense. Phil says, IMO Audacity is best for ACX, in my opinion. You can even install the requirements and ACX check. You can save so much time with the editing. Yeah, because you can use an ACX checker on Audacity for sure. With Adobe Audition, there's no third-party checker, like a one-button checker that I have found, but I have taught myself on Adobe Audition how to check everything, and it still takes, just a minute maybe. So if you don't use Audacity, you can still find a way to make sure that your noise floor is correct, your RMS levels are correct, or your RMS range is correct, and your peaks are correct. So Audacity isn't the only way to check for ACX if that is your concern and looking for a DAW to use. Colin Clark says, congratulations, Donnie. I had a similar offer through ACX. Guy's first name was Trevor. That was in March. Still waiting for the contract. Hope this isn't the case for you. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Donnie. Donnie. I'm scrolling up. That he found your demo sample? Not sure what you mean with that, Colin. Oh, it's getting hot in here. The Spectral Voice says, Angela, do you keep everything that you record, or do you select certain ones to keep for samples, demos, etc.? I keep everything that I record, but I don't keep it locally on my computer. Once every couple of months, I will shift everything off of my local hard drive onto an external hard drive. But I always keep everything. Yes, I've got a few external hard drives that have got audiobooks and past projects on it. And the reason for that is because if I want to, but before I offload, typically take the current stuff that I have done that I have permission to use and create a demo from that. And then I offload everything. But I keep everything because if I have a client that comes back to me, let's just say someone reached out to me on my website and they said, hey, I would like for you to record this. Great. And maybe it's got music on it, all of that kind of stuff. So to save me a bunch of time later having to recreate and remix in the music and all of that stuff, I can go to my hard drive and I have them all labeled by date. So I can find the client's original order date, go to that hard drive, pull it off, and then I'll have my multi-track that's got everything timed already, and then update, whatever little piece of the voiceover that needed to be updated, or audiobooks or anything else really. That way I won't have to spend time completely recreating whatever it was. And to make sure that everything is on the up and up, if I ever, God forbid, have an issue with something in the future, then I can prove that this was me, or I did this, or, I keep everything. Joanna, you're wrong. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I've heard not to use voiceover scripts. Is it true? I think what you may be referring to is, I think it's voices.com and maybe Edge Studio. There's a couple of websites out there that have voiceover scripts to use for practice, but they also do mention to not use them in demos. I have read that. That is why I encourage you to make your own. You can take a script and, again, kind of get a feel for what they're trying to say or how they're trying to say it, and then make up your own fake business, right? Or promote your own business. Make a commercial for yourself and, use that. But I would definitely, and also, if you think about how many demos that a director might be, or a casting director might be listening through, if they're hearing, because at some point they're all going to know what these scripts sound like or how they're worded, the free ones that you find on Edge Studio or voices.com. And they're going to go, okay, I've heard this 10,000 times, and they might just skip right past you. So in that respect, I wouldn't use them for that either. It's always better to use work that you've already done or to create your own script. That is, I think my train didn't derail on that one. I'm hoping. The Spectral Voice says, what's your method for organizing your recordings? I have multiple folders on my desktop, and each folder is a different platform, or I even have a folder for my own clients, people that reach out to me directly. And then within those folders, I'll have specific clients that are found on that platform. So for instance, for Upwork, for example, I have an Upwork folder. And then within that folder, I have all the different clients that I work with in Upwork. And then within those folders are all the different projects that I've done for them. And then, of course, after a couple months, everything gets offloaded. But that's how I keep everything together. That way, if I'm on Upwork and a client contacts me there, then I know that where to go and find their work at, right? Sean Lester 007 says, milestone for me. I received my first 100 plus monthly royalty check. It's a start. Great job. Congratulations. I think that deserves a congratulations. Is that dorky? That's fine. I'm dorky. That's fine. I'm okay with it. I own it. Phil says Sean Lester 007. Nice. Yes. Yes. Good job, Sean. That's amazing. And then the Spectral Voice says, I create my own scripts using other sources as a template. Perfect. Yeah. That's what I would recommend that you do, for sure. Okay, I think we're going to wrap this up for today. Let's hop on over to the poll really quick like. So we got 46 votes. And then again, today's poll is, do you have a voiceover or audiobook demo? And so far we got 46 votes. So we have 13% of you said yes, both. 26% said yes, just one. And 61% said not yet. I would definitely recommend making a demo for yourself to start. You can always upgrade it, refresh it, have a professional one made later on, but you need to have something on hand if a client wants to hear one or asks you for one. You should definitely have one ready to go. Let's see, where am I at here? Joanna says, oh, I have a question. Okay, what is your question? Ask your question. Special effects. Yep. I'm fancy. Robert says, thank you, Angela. Thank you. Thank all of you. I think we had 30 something, almost 40 people in here today. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And if you're watching the replay later, thank you for watching. I appreciate that. And please join the next one next week. I'm going to see if Joanna can ask her question quickly before we sign off here. Otherwise, yep, Joy says, congratulations to Sean. That's awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations on that. Okay, so let's see. Make sure that I have, let's see. The question is, I've heard not to use voiceover scripts. Is this true? I think we had just answered that question. Yep, you had asked that question earlier. Yeah, writing your own script is probably a better bet. And that way you can also personalize it a little bit. If you have, if you're looking for a specific type of tone or delivery for this particular sample that you're recording, if it's like an intimate perfume luxury type of a commercial, you write it yourself. That way you are in the script. So you're a little bit more attached and intimate with the script, if that makes sense. It'll help bring out a little bit more of you in the read too. So writing your own script is definitely beneficial for samples. But then as you go along and you have permission to use work that you have done for other people, for clients, then you can start to use that too. And then you won't have to worry about practice scripts or finding scripts for samples. But in the beginning, I would recommend just writing your own. John says, "Thanks, Angela. Have a great week, everyone." Yes, absolutely. So we're going to wrap this up for this week, and I appreciate everybody coming. And hang on a second here. Let me pop this up here. Okay, so we'll see everybody. Oh, hang on. We just had one more comment. Let me see. Trying to get everybody answered here. Okay, Joy says, another thing is that you can take those sample scripts and change them up to put your own creative print on them. Absolutely. Personalize it to make them your own. Definitely recommend that. That is great. Great point, Joy. Thank you for that. Sean says, thanks, VoiceOverAngela. Spectral Voice says, thanks, Angela. As always, you're awesome. No, you're awesome. All of you watching are awesome. And I appreciate every single one of you for watching. And I'll see you all next week. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody saying thank you and goodbye. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see everybody next week. Bye.